Warning: this podcast may contain adult content or language. It also might contain content that could be seen from others as uncomfortable or upsetting due to personal reasons. If that is the case, then please proceed with caution or stop the video, as we at the table are comfortable in most circumstances. This is a safety blanket meant for all individuals watching these episodes, as it is unclear what story content will be displayed. Hope you enjoy the story. Hello everyone. This is once again going to have the same sort of editing issue as the previous one, but after this episode and the start of the next episode, it will all be resolved. It'll end at a normal time. Everything will start about an hour into this. You're going to hear me do an interlude about saying, oh, we're going to end the episode, yada, yada, yada. It's not real. In my previous episode, I had explained the whole situation, but I'll reiterate. We didn't follow our normal 3 2-hour segments and instead followed 2 3-hour segments. So to try to spread out the content, I am taking an hour from the end of the first segment and the beginning of the last segment, and then making the second episode that way. So it's going to be a little bit choppy here and there. It's going to end kind of abruptly and randomly at the end of this episode especially. I just couldn't find a very significantly good place to end it. So when everyone was silent, it's kind of when I cut it. It might have ended in the middle of a conversation. But it'll be more from me to the players than from player to player interaction. You'll listen to it, but know that it's the end of that problem. It won't happen in the next session for sure. So thank you again for your understanding, and we'll roll right into the episode.
Blah,
Good.
blah, blah, blah.
Good. Yeah. No one's saving you from that.
As far as you can tell. Where is
She wants me to check.
Okay, there.
Sure.
I will master this person and bring it back to fight the tree man.
You know what, Nappa? Catch it with your teeth.
Okay, so what's going to happen is he's going to plant his staff once again, and he's holding out his hand, still resonating the same disgusting sound, just...
Just see an elf fly up to him and disappear.
Yep, just... You heal with magic, with a magic song of your voice, vanish into a puff of smoke.
Into the astral plane.
Into the astral plane.
Good.
Okay, let me look at this spell quick. So,
You are not going to do such a thing.
range 100 feet. 20-foot radius. Okay. Okay, so what you guys see in front of your cart is essentially a very small amount of very thin barbs just spike out of the ground directly in front of your cart. It's 20-foot radius, so it's covering this entire dome right in front of you.
Yeah.
I'll put a thing down right there. So 20 feet radius from that. And
You said spikes going on?
the spikes just barge straight up out of the ground. They're not massive, but they look painful.
Alright.
As far as you can tell, yes. Okay. With that, Zacchaeus, you're up. Right in front of you, you see these spikes just jut outwards.
I'm gonna go around them.
Okay. You're on the cusp of it, so you have a much easier time trying to avoid them. So you can just essentially go like this, and we'll assume that you bypass over it.
Nice.
Because you guys are going to move 25 feet forwards at the end of Zacchaeus' turn. So,
As my action,
you can also see after he does that, the bark also just like evaporates off the skin after he casts that as well.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyways, you were saying?
I'll move the moonbeam 60 feet towards the tree again.
Oh, does it move 60 feet?
I can move it 60 feet as an action every turn.
Oh, alright. You start to singe him once again, I'm guessing. Easily reaching him. So that's another Constitution saving throw on his pot. What's your spell save DC? Because that's a 13.
15.
That's a fail. So
Nice.
he will take full damage on this.
Max damage.
That's awesome.
That is 28 points of radiant damage.
Alright, so you slide it over. You can see it starts to like singe at part of the ground as it just skids across, and it just like lands over him. You hear him just go. He saves on his Constitution saving throw for concentration, though, but he is badly injured from that. Alright.
Okay.
With the top of the turn, everything moves 25 feet forwards, essentially. The horses take damage per 5 feet into it. So they take 2d4. So the horses end up taking 15 points of damage, all of them, and they're crippled, essentially. So they're now much slower than the rest of the cart. And none of you get hurt by it, because it's only affecting the horses. Zacchaeus' horse is fine, because he skirted out of the radius beforehand. And yeah, so now essentially you are only able to really move about 5-10 feet at best with your horse right now. And the spikes are still kind of jutted around you.
I
This-
wait for Rex to come.
I know, I'm just saying that this is what happens.
I was about to say I was going to do something like, no, I wait for Rex.
Rex, your turn.
How tall is the cart I'm standing on?
The cart is, you're about 10 feet, close to 15 feet up, because it's a cart that's meant to box in, but it's also staying off the ground, so it's about 1-2 above, and then that's about 5 feet, so about 10 feet up.
So, I can't make it.
To try to climb it?
I was either trying to climb it or trying to jump on top.
Jumping on top, probably not. Well, you have the boots of
Yeah, that's what I
springing,
have.
so, I mean, it's possible. You might have to make an athletics check. But it's possible.
Kind of want to there was only that bottom one though, and there's spikes too.
There are spikes around. Essentially, let me move. Let me move this. But right about here. So
I'm guessing the tree doesn't give a shit about those.
it might. It still took some damage.
Is there a room at the top of the car I can a running start?
Yeah, you have enough space to get a running start. It's like a 10-foot long, so you just try to leap, waving your arms in a athletic pose. You can try.
What was that?
Athletic pose.
All right, make an athletics check with disadvantage because of exhaustion.
Good.
Yeah, the
And
one
the
person is
stance
the one person's not
Yep,
exhausted
stance
in
ends now.
another dimension.
About.
Oh, that was so good. Hopefully this next one's good. That's really good. He got a natural 20 and a natural 19.
Plus my 7, that's 26.
Easily. Just so go for. You're just standing there holding onto the rope, and you just see it just sink into the distance. It's starting to drag across, and you're confused. In that moment, you just feel two hands prop onto your shoulders, boom, springboard into the air, doing like several flips, and just you land directly in front of him.
It's like Tom.
Right when you, oh, so the sword would have fallen 20. It would have been in range to do. I'm gonna allow it. So you calls the time. The tree, impossible to dodge. There's no. It's got to go through the tree to hit you, to get to you. You're not gonna necessarily hit Splattergoo, but you are definitely hitting this dude. Hitting me. So you shout Satan, and it just slides straight through the tree. You just hear. So go ahead and roll damage. I'll say it's a critical hit too.
So, D6, right?
Yep, D6. So 2d6 plus your dex. What?
Did you say that the frog's name was Splattergoo?
Yes. Not that your characters would know.
Yeah.
I just love how he just glossed over that. Like, I dragon
I
splattered
accidentally
you.
said his name because he's a dude on this picture. So
Yeah, that's so funny. This is really funny.
8 plus your dex.
12.
12 points of damage as you just call out Zatan and the blade just shoots through the tree, through the bottom of the entire shed, and just like slides into your palm.
Like went up his ass.
Yeah, I still have my action. Right?
You still have your action,
I'm
yeah.
gonna attack, so both
So 2 attacks. Go ahead and roll 2
Oh,
attacks.
that was 3. No,
No, it's 2 because you're not using your bonus action for a dual wield attack. Why are you rolling? What is?
I thought it was disadvantage.
No, you don't have a disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Well, the first one was like
14.
14 will miss, so go ahead and roll the second one.
Wait, 14 plus my.
There was an 8 in there.
No, there was 14 in that roll.
There was a 14 and an 8.
Why?
Okay. Oh. Okay. So the 14 was the first attack. 8 was the second attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So 14 plus will hit.
16.
16 hits.
That's 2. No.
With the
You said
8,
14,
the 8
8.
is. Oh.
You said 14, 8. You said 14 and an 8.
Yep.
So
So
those are my 2 attacks then.
8. You have 8 plus 8.
No, that's half. 15, sorry.
15 will miss,
Yeah.
but the other one will definitely hit. So go ahead and roll your d6 plus 3 or 4. 14 plus, or yeah. D6 plus 4.
Do I include that 1 from Zatan? This has.
Is a ton of plus 1
Yeah.
weapon? Then yeah, you would.
Then it'll be.
Then it's a 16.
Yeah.
Then that will hit. So 2d6 plus 8. She's
2, 5,
plus 8.
so 15.
Okay. So you So basically, you call forth. You just shout it. You leap up from literally nowhere in front of his field of view, and you land. Call out this word that he might. You're not entirely sure if he understands or not. Blade shoots out of the ground, and then you just start to swing at him. He has to make Constitution saving throws for 2 attacks. Saves. Saves.
Dang.
He's a con heavy dude. So you cut straight across him. You can see like several different like pores of just blood start to pool out. It's like a sickly like greenish and blackish color.
Chop the legs.
Is that your turn? Yeah, that was your bonus for movement. And your... He hit the frog with his attacks, and then it hit the tree with his calling.
So basically, yes.
Yeah. So yes.
I can use a free action.
This will be your last stand before you can rest again. So.
Give up on that.
I will not risk those things.
Okay. So with that, you did some pretty drastic, incredibly
Flash move.
flashy moves. Jacqueline, you're up. He's not looking very good.
Wow.
Alright, go ahead and fire.
Bam. 16.
To hit. That will hit.
Bam. Okay.
So 2d10.
That one. Bam. Okay.
You did 15 damage to the frog,
Man.
and then you did.
I'm trying to do all.
Oh, I gotcha.
Alright. Same damage I did last time.
What was that?
11.
11 points of damage. So you
Literally-
fire forwards. From over your shoulder, you see slam into him. He's not looking very good. You can see like several different pores are starting to blood over and pool.
It was literally the exact same rolls in the exact same order.
Yeah, that's
It
interesting.
was a 4 and then a 7. I was like, cool.
Interesting.
Alright.
Go for it.
Alright.
Well, you still have bonus actions. Is there anything you wanted to do?
Fuck.
I mean, you can. You have sorcery points.
I do.
You have twin spell.
I have quicken spell.
Quicken spell, sorry.
How many sorcery points is
I believe it's 2.
What's damage?
Did what was it? 28 points of moonbeam damage.
Fuck it, I have all of them. All 4. What?
3, because you're level 2 paladin, level 3 sorcerer.
Sure, whatever it is. I have enough.
Yeah, you have plenty. It's actually more than 3, but yeah, you do have 4 because you start with 2.
This isn't gonna handle waste these. Yeah, no, not.
Scales off like a fire, just in the distance.
Okay.
That's your turn?
Yeah.
Okay, Gopher, you're up.
Alright, so
Punch it.
I pull up the rope again.
Nothing. Nothing on either end. No
And,
miniature,
I'm
miniature
gonna-
rider or anything.
I'm gonna loop it like a cowboy loop.
Like a lasso.
Yeah, like a lasso, and I'm gonna try to hook it onto its arm to climb up or something.
Okay, so make an attack. Make an attack against the treant.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Don't add your proficiency, so just add your strength. 17 will hit. So it like right as the treant like raises its arm, you just see it wrap around and it just looks at it.
Oh shit! I'm going in for a ride, boys.
Okay, so what else are you doing with this?
I'm gonna climb up a little bit and
So
wait
you-
to see what he does.
So it's 50 feet, so you kind of just start pulling and pulling and pulling.
Yeah.
That's gonna really
Pull
be.
until it gets tight. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get it tight, but you really don't. You have some movement, but you're not necessarily having a whole lot of time here.
Okay. So how high up can I climb?
You can get up to its arm. You'll still have the rope of this distance, but you can try to climb up to its arm.
Okay, I'll try to get out to his arm so I don't get flailed around.
Okay, what are you doing?
Didn't when my firebolt hit, didn't he have to make a constitution?
You
saving
did.
throw?
You are correct. He said 22. 22 for Constitution saving
I hate this guy.
throw.
He's a con man.
Con man, he's got a +6 to his Constitution saving throw.
Damn.
So far, it's like 98.
Damn.
He's a big dude. So
So-
make an athletics check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Be like me.
That's pretty good. That's also pretty good.
That's
Athletics.
18 still.
So you start to climb up. So you throw the lasso, and it just like wraps taut, and immediately you start to pull until you start to climb up to its leg. You're about onto its arm. The rope is still there, and you're kind of holding onto it, but it definitely has a pretty fair grasp.
Okay.
You're not holding it back by any means, but you're on its arm.
Yeah. So do I have my bonus action?
Yeah, you have bonus action also.
Oh, rage.
Okay, so you climb up. You can see its face
Yeah.
is like the size of you,
Oh god.
and you just tense.
Yeah.
Maybe out of fear, maybe out of constipation. You're not entirely sure.
Constipation.
You've been
Yeah,
having
I'll still hold
issues
on to the
eating those cubes that you've been given,
Oh,
but
okay.
you just rage and just.
Right. And I'm
Pulls
still
out.
holding on the rope just in case.
I'm trying to bear hug him and to dump like.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Okay, so now it's the treant's turn. Treant,
Start shaking on this bug that it got.
while it's moving, you need to make an athletics check with disadvantage to try to keep on. Wow,
That's another one,
17 plus
17.
whatever. He's gonna scoot over
16.
here. So you're with him. You're also with him.
Yes. Taking a Kelly box.
Yeah, we'll just take you away. So he's just charging forward with you on arm. You're just like.
Oh shit. I'm getting.
He's going to swing at Sorcerers with its massive, just tree trunk log. Just.
But he's a druid.
This thing doesn't care.
Exactly.
28 to hit.
Yeah.
You heard like the slight comment.
You take 18 points of bludgeoning damage from the first one. Make a Constitution saving throw.
That is 12.
Okay, well you do save, so you keep Moonbeam up. Second attack, 25 to hit.
Oh god.
You take 21 points of bludgeoning damage from the second strike.
Oh my god.
I'm down.
So what you guys see, especially Gopher, because one of them comes down with you on it. What you guys hear is this disturbing sound, just Gopher. You just see Zacchaeus get blown off of his horse into the mud, and you can see the horse is not doing very well. It's freaking out. It wasn't necessarily hit, but it still felt forced, so maybe it like ruptured a leg or something.
It definitely would.
That's its turn.
Ooh, fast.
I mean, that's a pretty hard hit. I'm not even still hanging on to him.
Make my flash check. Sure. Why not? Brush it up. You're good. You were rolling really well with disadvantage on these. Granted, you have a plus like 7, so you're good. Okay, so that's the treant's turn. The guards are now on Mead's cart, are just going to start firing at the treant, because they don't have any angle onto that. So 3 attacks. That will miss. That will hit.
Oh.
That will also miss. So 1d8.
1d8.
8 points of damage.
Oh, that is.
Like a mosquito.
It basically hit the bark and just kind of skid off. It seemed to do less damage than it already did. Yeah, might have taken 1 point of damage from that. So, Ryder, you see this dreadnought approach. It's fast as well. It's moving 80 feet immediately. Like, it just appears closer.
He's like,
It doesn't. It's not moving its legs, because as it gets closer, you can tell it doesn't have legs. It's just floating to you. And in that moment, let me look at something of what these affect. Where's my player's hand? Where the fuck did it go? Excuse me. There it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, sorcerer. How's this working? Yeah, you see it. What are you doing?
I fly away, of course.
Alright, so you just use your action to fly as far away as possible?
Yeah, double dash, and I'm gonna say, you don't have to attack me, we're the only ones here! We can make a living together!
You hear in your mind a growl of just... as it growls as well, the entire area begins to resonate with the sound in your mind. So it's a very disturbing thought, because exterior, it's quiet. Interior, you're buzzing loud with this guttural like sound, and then after you fly away, you appear back where you were.
Oh shit!
25 feet over here at the end of your turn.
Huh?
So you are floating back here.
Trees,
Do I see this?
frogs,
Do I see this?
Everyone sees except for Takaris. Ryder appear in the
Out
distance.
of nowhere.
I look
That's
around my
in your
area.
turn, though.
Oh yeah, I look around and be like, what happened? So, what did it do? Did it teleport me to a realm?
It teleported you to the astral plane until the
Okay.
end of your next turn.
Huh.
Basically, a worse version of Blink.
Oh.
Because you never know, something might have been there when you came to. Anyways,
Could have been good, could have been bad.
no, everything on the astral plane is bad.
Oh.
Everything. It's the land of like dead souls.
Oh shit.
It's like
It's an
it's limbo.
Oh.
So it's now the frog dude's Blabbergoo's turn. Seeing Ryder directly in front of him, he's not happy.
Ryder.
Or Rex right in front of him, sorry. The guttural sound pauses briefly, his throat elongates, and he points the staff directly in front of you, and just shouts right in front of you. You need to make a Constitution saving throw from Thunderwave.
Maybe I should just go for
Is it Constitution?
Constitution saving throw. I think you have like a +0 to that.
Yeah, probably. I was a level 1.
18.
Is that 18 or 16? 18. Well, you save. So this force just emerges in front of you, and you still take damage, but you take half damage. You don't get pushed back.
I'll tell you this, guys, now. This is the first time I've ever taken on this journey.
Oh.
Well, you've been hiding inside of a hut, and you weren't a part of the assassin fight, so yeah. Ooh, you take. Okay, good thing you tab. You take 10 points of thunder damage.
I don't think I take it. Yeah.
Is it 10?
10, yep.
What did it say? Oh.
And then, with
Oh, you
his
mean-
staff,
I went through 12.
he's going to cast a spell through his staff.
I just action for attacking.
This is an action, but this is a bonus action spell. Used through his staff. Okay. It's not a very good one. Can't really do too much. So, it's going to cast. Okay. So you need to make a dexterity saving throw. Yeah, 14. That will fail, unfortunately. It doesn't hurt you. So what ends up happening? The treant is pretty massive, and there's several different from the front of it. There's like the bark that's on its face. The rest of you see this disgusting like twirl on its forehead. Basically, it looks like it's starting to become a unicorn, and then a thick whip just comes out, grabs the leg of Rex, and yanks him out, and is essentially just like drops you from the top into the mud. Yeah. So you get yanked out the top and dropped right here. Right when you fall, you see Zacchaeus and his horse. Zacchaeus is unconscious into the mud with the mud kind of sinking into it.
You bitch.
And you're also starting to sink into it as you just fallen 25 feet. Luckily, because it's mud, you're not taking any damage from the fall, but you immediately sink about like a foot into it.
Bitch. I was afraid of being.
And with that, the guttural sounds halt. And yep, that's his turn. So he will close his door. Zacchaeus, make a death saving throw.
That is a natural 1.
So that is 2 death bales.
Oh.
Top of the initiative order. All the carts move forwards.
Wait, on the second throw, do I add my proficiency?
Are you proficient in dexterity saving throws?
Yeah, no.
Then no, you do not. Yeah, the horses take a little bit more damage, but then they break free of it. Ugh. They take another 4 points of piercing damage, and they're not looking good. If they were to try to continue, they potentially could die.
Hey, who?
The horses from the spike growth spell. Oh, he hasn't made Constitution saving throws from me to attack. Oh wait, no, he wasn't attack. No, spike growth still. Okay, that's the beginning of that. So Rex.
I get up.
Yep, you kind of just stand up in the mud.
Wait, aren't most spells that are concentration like stopped when he makes another spell that requires
That was with his
concentration?
The whip, the spell that was the whip wasn't another concentration. He lost the spike growth was the second one. He lost his bark skin, which was the first concentration spell.
Oh. I was really hoping he was concentrating on keeping the tree alive.
Does not appear so.
I'm next to
Good.
the cart, right?
Yeah, you're next to the cart. It's starting to. Well, actually, you would be moving 25 feet back. So 5, 10, 5. And so would Zacchaeus.
Is there room on?
You also would because you just teleported in. So.
Is there? Do I see there's room on the cart?
Yeah, it's pretty tight. You can see that there's Fiend is kind of just like sitting on top of a barrel trying to shoot. But you could probably try to fit on. It's looking pretty tight, but there's probably enough space for at least.
I'm gonna help Zacchaeus drag him to the cart.
Okay. Make just a general athletics check with disadvantage because he's currently sinking into the mud. So you have to yank him out of it.
And he's 400 pounds.
And he's 400 pounds.
You said athletic, right?
Athletics. Yes.
17.
17. That's enough. So you yank him out, just. And it's just disgusting. Like where he landed, you can see there's like a digit into the ground, and you kind of yank him out, and you're able to kind of throw him onto the top of the cart.
Does anybody know medical treatment? Treat him.
We don't have anything to.
Do I hear that?
Yeah, you do. You do.
Do
hear
I
that.
hear that?
You also do hear that because you're also closer than Jacqueline. But well, actually, you guys are like
Trying to see
pretty
this.
close.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm coming!
Is the horse dead? That Zacchaeus was riding.
No, it's still up there. It's just running alongside the cart.
What is the range on Cure Wounds?
Cure Wounds is a touch.
It's touch?
Yeah,
Touch.
Cure Wounds is touch.
Hold on. How far away are they?
Fair distance.
Is it more or less than 30 feet?
Yeah, more than 30.
Would I be able to move closer to get to 30
Well,
feet?
it's not your turn yet. Still,
Well, I'm just...
you can move. The thing is that you're still at half speed because of the mud. So
I take it.
Can I do a running start in the mud? Should I climb on back of the tree monster over?
not from this height. You could jump 15 feet up, but the issue is the tree is 25 feet tall, essentially. And in the mud, you had to spend half your movement to get up, and then in that amount of time as well, you were at half speed because of the mud. So you had just enough movement to essentially get Zakaris onto the cart.
So I don't know.
You have no movement.
I have no rope, so that'll be my end of my turn.
Okay. Jacqueline.
Forget. Do I still have a Corellan Filter of Greater Healing?
Yep, it's on greater healing.
On Greater Healing?
Mhm.
Movement.
Your horse can move 40, so you can move 20, but if you're not going to be following with the cart, you can move your normal 40, essentially, because they're moving forwards while you're using your movement to stay
Okay.
away.
That's right. I could have done that.
What?
Dash. I
Uh,
didn't use my action.
you use your action to pull Zakaris out of the mud.
Oh, I thought you used that against my pulse.
You use your movement to drag him, but you still have to use your action to literally yank him out of the mud.
Yeah.
There's 400 pounds.
And even then, you still only would have had 15 feet. You wouldn't have been able to climb very far.
Ryder, I need to pick up.
Okay.
We're getting pretty far in, but we're almost done here.
I'll take whatever chance, I guess. And I will go up to the cart where Karis and Rex are.
Okay. You can make it there. Your movement.
Nice. How many?
I don't think you've used any. Or
No, he did.
maybe
He
you
used one.
Here's one.
Didn't you use it? I'm pretty sure when you had gotten into after the troll fight, you said, I'm not going to be using these anyways, and dumped your healing into Zakaris. After
All
he was.
10?
Yeah. And those recover on a long rest.
Well, bang. Let's see what I've got here.
Nobody sees the true Inquisition.
No one suspects the amphibian inquisition. I really should just let Ryder do this. He probably has better shit.
I mean, you're within touch range, so you can
Uh-huh.
still use like Cure Wounds.
He's gonna touch his dick through the night.
Oh, I don't have to use an action. I don't have to dash. do
No.
I?
You still have your action.
Fuck it.
Lay on hands is an action as well, so.
Oh well, whatever it is. Okay. In that case, healing someone takes them out of the death saving
Yes.
throw shit, right?
Yes.
I just pour Krellin's filter into Zakaris' face.
Okay. So that's 4d4 plus 4.
Cool.
44 plus 4.
44 plus 4.
So is he back up?
Yeah, he's back. He's conscious.
One. Yes.
Go for. Think about what you're going to be doing on this treant's arm while this is happening.
Break down
14.
that door.
14 points of Zakaris, so you heal 14 points of healing,
Busted.
Holy shit. Thank you very much.
and you just like come back to life. So you pour in this filter, and you can see the liquid that's inside. It's like nice, like natural blue color, which is very different than a normal potion of healing, bright red. Just kind of pours into his mouth, and it just instantly begins to like heal up some of the wounds, and like this brief glow to his skin almost begins to emanate. The moon shadow also or not the moon shadow, the moonbeam also vanished when he was unconscious. But it's almost like the moonbeam was like covering over him after you healed him.
Don't go towards the light!
Oh, God.
But yeah, that's your action and your movement. You have a bonus action if you wanted to do anything with that.
It's on the horse, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I wasn't gonna do anything. I just wanted to know.
Okay, yeah. Go for it. You are on the arm of this tree and just kind of wrapped to it, raging.
Okay, so how far up is the cabin up on top?
From the arm, it's about like a 10-foot climb, roughly.
So you're basically like here.
Okay.
You're gonna be at half movement because it's flailing.
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta. You know what? I'm gonna untie the rope from its arm and do another lasso.
Okay.
Would I be able to throw it up towards the cabin up top, or?
You can try. It'll be an athletics check, not disadvantage because you're raging.
Right.
So you have advantage, but you're exhaustion.
Okay.
So 26.
Yeah.
You quickly untie. Natural 19. Quickly untie. It yanks. It basically because the top is flat.
Yeah.
You throw it over and it latches onto part of the hut
Okay.
on the back, and so you're to start to pull yourself up.
I was gonna. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll pull myself up. Am I standing?
You're at the doorway.
Oh, I'm gonna bust that door.
You used your action to throw the lasso.
All right. Okay.
Use your bonus action
You know what?
to knock.
You know what? I'm gonna pull the rope tight and tie myself around it just in case.
Okay, so you use your bonus action to tie it around yourself. Okay. With that, it's the Treant's turn. With the sound gone, Treant starts to leave.
No.
So it uses double dash.
God damn it.
Well, actually, no. So since you're on top, it's gonna move its normal movement of 35 feet. Well, it's not keeping up with the cart, so it's actually gonna move its normal. It's not dashing either, so there we go. Okay.
Oh, that was so
With its other hand, it's gonna try to just bat you off of the top. Well, two things are gonna have to happen here because the rope has an AC and health. First attack misses with a natural 1.
Okay.
It goes to swing and just kind of like crushes into the back of its own head. Just
So he's hurt himself.
it doesn't hurt enough, but he definitely just slaps
It's kinda
Bart
just,
on
like,
the
slapping
bar. So, does a 12 hit?
That was really close though.
So the second one goes to swing and it kind of just clips you, but it doesn't actually hurt you.
Okay.
That's what it does. I mean,
Shit.
the guards are gonna just shoot at it quickly. I'm gonna try to. That one will hit with a natural 20. Miss. Those are
I think I have something more important to worry about than you.
2d8.
Not to be
Takes
rude.
11 points of damage to the tree, which bounces off, doing half damage. Tree, which wasn't hit during any of this, is basically fine with its like nearly 200 hit points. So with that. Ryder.
Go for him, coming! I'm sorry, Rex!
Ooh, fire.
So you fly 60 feet. So 5, 10, 25, 30, 35, 40. You can see Gopher tied in front of the door.
So I use my action to double dash, or was that?
That was just your movement. You have a fly
Okay.
speed of 60
Alright.
with this fly spell.
Alright, go for it. You ready, buddy? Let's get this fucker.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
I open the door,
Okay, you open the door.
and...
He's standing there. You can see that he's kind of just there. He hasn't had his action yet, so.
Alright, I'm gonna I'm gonna swing at him. I'm just gonna, with my rapier.
You're also actually listening because,
Oh yeah, he's running.
because he's running that way. So you're swinging with his rapier?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and roll the hit.
Oh, only thing we can do. Only thing we got.
21.
That will hit.
And I'm gonna use my thing,
Mhm.
of course. That's about this log. Taking my go through it.
Oh.
2d6.
Yeah, right here. 6. 8.
Plus your dex.
And 18.
18 points of damage.
116.
I know. I'm keeping track. He's standing.
Oh my goodness.
Not doing very well at all. So you stab forwards, and in this brief moment, there's the silence, and you just hear, and it's blood starts to pool out from several different
areas. It's like blood pouring out of his mouth.
Is it bleeding from the areas I cut
And
him?
he's bleeding everywhere. He got hit by like fireballs,
Yeah,
moonbeams.
yeah,
He's not doing very well. He's still standing.
Alright, well.
He does not have much that he can do with his spells. It's his turn now. Oh shit, doesn't have much going for him though.
Ryder, I want his staff.
Not there.
A shovel.
No,
I can't hear you from the sound of croaking.
from the sound of a tree.
That too.
Oh yeah.
Both.
Okay. So. Does not have much going for him.
Close range too.
Okay, with his staff, he's gonna have another little tendril thing fly out. It's a bonus action, trying to yank Gopher from it, which is gonna have.
Go for it, not the person who's pointing him, the stabbing him.
Well, you're floating in front of him.
Yeah.
You flew to the trees. He's an intelligent creature. That is not very good to the AC of rope, which I think is 15. Yeah, so he does not snap the rope. So there's this thing tugging on you, but your rope is keeping taut.
Yes.
Well,
It's tied around your waist.
it doesn't hurt you in any way, so that was that. Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot that he can do. Okay, so what he is going to do is he can make 2 attacks with his staff. So he's going to essentially it's like a staff, but the 2 points on it act as a spear.
Oh.
So he's just gonna swing forwards at you with it. First attack is 16.
Ooh. That's what it is.
Okay. So
Wouldn't be. Like, shit.
So you take 3d8 damage.
What?
Because he's using a feature. So you take 10 points of piercing damage from the first strike.
Ooh.
And then there's this immediate feel of just this poison sinking into you. Take 15 points of poison damage.
Oh no, then I'm down.
You're down?
Yeah, that's how much I exactly had.
Okay. Well, he was going all out against you, so the second attack is going to be against you as well. That's a 19 to hit, so you take 2 death saving throws immediately as well. Because he hits you, and it, since you're unconscious, it acts as a critical hit.
Okay. Ooh.
Damn.
So, Gopher, what you see is the spear puncture through Ryder, this sickly green energy coursing through his body, yanking out, and you can see him now looking at you as he stabs forwards at Ryder again.
Oh shit.
And he just speaks in this because he can speak common with his guttural sounds.
Okay.
Leave.
You killed Evie,
Little
your
unsettling.
friend died.
A little unsettling, but that kind of provokes me.
Yeah, and then go for
He goes to alternate mode.
Zacharias.
Super Saiyan Blue over here at this point.
All right, well, we're gonna pause with that then. We're gonna pause with that because we're nearly 3 hours in.
Yeah.
That I was expecting it to end, but then everyone was climbing the tree. I'm like, oh god.
Oh god.
He had nothing. Never mind. Nothing.
Did we do
I'm
good?
staying silent. You guys did really well. I was not
Especially me.
expecting people to. That leap was important. With disadvantage, that leap was so
I
important.
know.
Well, we'll take a quick break, and then we're gonna get back right into this real quick after some people get some food. So thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back to here shortly with another poorly planned adventure.
Please check the description.
And subscribe for more. Yeah, go ahead and second more.
Welcome to Misrolled Adventures, where the players make plans and horribly execute.
Alright, okay, I got this. Did you have recording?
Yeah, I've had recording now.
Okay. Welcome back, Misrolled Adventure, where the players make plans and horribly execute them because their dice are too fucking rounded. and roll too much.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, I'll edit it so that way it works out. Anyways, so we're gonna just jump right back into this. So
I'm dying.
you are bleeding out. Gopher, what you see is the frog dude has the spear up to Ryder, who's got essentially a gaping hole in his chest. And close beam. And he spoke to you saying in common with his guttural frog-like sound, just leave.
Can I take my turn?
Take that for both. So,
And he throws the body to you, essentially.
alright, okay.
You just face down into the
I
ground.
was literally just gonna go run up to him while he had him. You know what? I'll
Honestly-
heal him first.
Well, it's not your turn. Well, I mean, is anybody else
Actually, yeah,
doing
yeah.
anything? Because Zacchaeus, what is there anything that you're going to be doing? None of you know what happened. None of you do.
So I'll get up, and I'll assume we're still fighting because I don't know any different.
You can see the tree is running in the opposite direction of you.
But you also noticed that 2 people are missing.
I mean, it just doesn't see them.
And you see me thinking.
I give
Right.
Jacqueline a hug, as I do,
I should
and then I turn into a bear and I start running towards the tree.
Yes!
Okay, so you hug Jacqueline on the horse, and then you let go, and you turn into a bear on top of the cart. Some of the guards kind of get shoved into the wall after your massive form. You just leap off. The entire cart just shakes massively. What's your speed as a bear?
Is it possible for me to pop on?
40 feet.
40 feet. So you move 20, so 5, 10, 5, 15, 20. You want to dash?
Might as well.
Alright, now you're up to the tree.
Nice.
Yeah, as you do.
Okay. So top of the initiative order, everything would moving 25 feet up. So you guys moving further back. With the trees. And cicadas.
It's a key. He's grabbing on the meow.
But yeah. Rex. Just gonna get up on top of the cart.
I can't make the run.
Nope.
Can I reach my original cart?
No, not really. Because the thing was that there was an intermission between the other cart and that cart. That cart has been obliterated and just thrown everywhere.
Wait, oh, main card?
The other cart, the
Oh,
cart holding
I'm
the
talking
guards.
my main cart.
Yeah, but the thing is that that's a far distance considering you don't have. You could try to dash and climb up.
Is there any way I can save the horse?
The horse is still fine. The thing is that there are still spears or jagged spikes up on this, so all the horses are just brutally injured at this point. And if you try to get up, you're gonna essentially get hurt.
So if I get up on the cart, I'll get hurt.
Getting off the cart, you're gonna get hurt.
Oh.
Speaking of which, Zacchaeus, you do take 2d4 damage as a bear. You take 6 points of piercing damage from the spike growth.
Alright.
Guess I'll just wait until we pass the spikes, then I'll hop on to this horse.
Okay.
Yeah, good fair chance.
Jacqueline, is there anything that you were going to be able to do?
I am too stunned to do anything.
All right. Gopher. So you have Ryder face down in front of you with the frog that's pointing its staff towards you now that just said, leave.
So,
Wait,
after you said that, I quickly turned Ryder over for my minor healing potion into him.
Okay, so
It
2d4.
just goes up to my room.
2d4 plus 2. That is your action to do. That's all. Heal 7. But you're alive. The wound is still pretty drastic, but it realistically only like covered the skin, so that way you're not externally bleeding. You're still really, really injured. And you see the frog dude just pointing the staff to you, saying, repeating the word "leave" over and over and over and
Wait, am
over
I
again.
up then? Like,
You're unconscious,
Okay, yeah,
but
so-
you're on your back still. With that, it's the treant's turn. So the treant, with its massive hand, is just going to. How is this going to work? Okay, so what it's going to do. That is a
Push the
27. It grabs the rope and just pulls. So it breaks off from the back of it. You're still taut to it, and he yanks you out of the cabin.
No. Okay.
With the other hand, he's going to try to grapple Ryder. You can make athletics.
I'm unconscious.
You're conscious.
Oh, I'm
You're
conscious.
conscious. You're just on your back.
Oh, you're unconscious.
Okay, so.
Acrobatics or dexterity.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it tries to grab you to pull you out, and it just starts to like wiggle around. The hand is still in there, but it's not. It's essentially over you. It's not. It wasn't able to grab you to pull you out. The hand's still over.
Oh,
So there's like this gap between you and the frog dude now.
okay. Shame.
You're essentially being dragged.
Oh, shit.
You're in the mud, and it's just dragging you across as it's moving.
Shit.
So, Zacchaeus, if you wanted to, you could take a attack of opportunity against the tree.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hey, can you tell us how much health it has? Like 200?
Well, this is a rendition of a tree which has naturally like over 130 hit points. It's a rockwood tree that I've made. It has a lot more health than that.
500.
You should say anything
But
different.
not 500. That's god tier health. that's absurd health.
Yes. That'd take like 2 days.
That's like level 20.
Oh, it's like 2 days to fight.
What'd you roll?
17 to hit.
That'll hit. Go ahead and roll your 2d6.
Hey, Kuz.
Your attacks aren't magical, right?
No.
Okay, so it's gonna take half damage.
13 rounded down to 6.
Yep. So you rake a claw across its back, and you see several of its like spongy, dark wood exterior. It kind of cracks and breaks off. Inside, you can see this like fleshy, like resin type of ichor flowing out of it, but it's just black and disgusting. That's its turn. It's just moving away. The guards can't do anything from this distance. Ryder. So there's this massive tree hand
So-
that's blocking your sight.
I'm guessing that I can't fly anymore.
No, because you fell unconscious, so
Yeah.
fly dispelled.
I get up half my movement.
Okay, it's difficult. You're essentially like crouched down because the tree's hand is still like over you, trying to like
Okay.
grasp at
I'm
you.
gonna try talking to him then.
Uh,
Why did you attack us?
Okay. Still speaking common. The deer was part of us.
What is it? What?
The deer was part of us.
Part of us? What do you mean part of you?
This land.
So you just trying to take him away? What are you gonna do with them?
Doesn't respond.
I see. Not you, Siri. Well, you got this. I'm gonna legend him again with my waving.
There's a
Oh.
gap. That's
Oh.
the hand
Oh,
is
yeah.
essentially. There's like a 5-foot gap between you because when he threw you forwards, he made this gap, and that's when the claw or the
Okay,
tree trunk like hand is essentially covering. You can still try. He's got essentially 3/4 cover.
Okay. Maybe.
It'll just be more difficult to hit.
How far are you away from? Like, I'm guessing you're 5 feet away ish.
Well, essentially there's just he's like you can still try to reach
Okay,
him.
what? Can I ask what's around him?
It's just the interior of a hut. It doesn't look like
It's
there's
an
any.
empty hut.
It's a pretty much empty hut. Yeah, there might be like some bedding on the ground, but other than that, there's nothing else in here.
Is there a way I can cast Shatter on him?
You can just cast the spell on him.
Oh.
It's gonna hit you, but you can
Oh,
just
yeah.
cast. Yeah, it's
Oh.
gonna hit you. It's a 15-foot radius sphere.
Oh, shit.
Pretty sure it's a 15-foot radius. I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty. Regardless, this is a small hut. Like this hut's only like 10 by 10.
No.
He does not have metal.
He's a druid.
This is weapon metal.
No, it is a wooden staff.
Well then, I'm gonna take. Oh man, should I even take this? What is this? Oh man. Oh man. Should I risk this?
10-foot radius sphere. So you will hit this entire hut.
Alright. Vicious mockery!
It's a charisma saving throw?
Nope, it's a wisdom.
Pretty sure it's got good wisdom too.
Like, wow, having a druid wisdom.
Hmm.
Good job.
And your spell save DC is what?
13.
15, yeah.
Natural 1. It's right there.
Alright, well then I'm just gonna, alright. I'm gonna heal myself quick.
Healing word.
Yep. A level 2.
Level 2 healing word.
Okay.
Wild magic.
Man.
How many spells do you have left?
After this one, 4. 1 level 2 and 3 level 1s.
Makes sense. Okay, so yeah. So you heal up some. Not a lot, but some.
No.
8. Did you want to move or anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna move out of the hut then, and then, hang on, give me a second. Do I have anything on here I can get on?
You can jump in the mud.
I mean, that's gonna take, do I take body damage for that? Or no?
You're not sure. As far as you can tell, Ryder or Rex didn't get hurt when he fell out of it before.
He wasn't there though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you weren't there. Never mind. You were still in the astral plane. So you don't know.
I'm just gonna...
Well, sorry, the DM just told you, Rex didn't
I mean,
take
But not
I don't
metagame.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
Ryder would have known at normal jumps.
I'm gonna try to climb. Can I like climb around the tree thing and jump from the back?
You don't have enough movement for that, but you can get pretty close. You could probably jump off.
Okay, from the shoulder then. How about
Yeah,
that?
you can get off from there.
And shoulder and just jump down.
Yeah, you can get off the side. Basically, you just leap off the side here, land halfway to the mud.
Does that do damage?
You can see Gopher is currently held by a rope, being dragged across the mud. He's actually like back here, about like 5 feet.
Alright, and I'm. That's it.
All right. Okay. With that, all that's gonna happen is he's just gonna roll wild magic. Or no, not wild magic. It's pretty good, but he's going to place a hand on himself. Okay.
It's a frog.
Zakaris.
It's a frog, an animal.
It's a beast, yeah.
Okay. I was like, man, cat animal punch.
You don't know, that might work. Zakaris, is there anything you wanted to do? You see.
So I see Gopher being dragged through the mud, right?
Yep, you see Gopher, you see Ryder halfway into the mud now. Just. He's actually a humanoid.
Oh. Oh, did Chomper?
That could have worked.
Can I attempt to cut the rope?
Yeah, you
Or
got
turn
it. You can make an attack roll. You make 2 attacks because you're a bear. This is tough.
Both of those will probably hit with a total of 20.
Okay, easily you just cut it. It has 2 hit points. Like, you just snap it in half.
rope.
It's rope. The AC is 15 because it's rope. Easily you just cut into it and Gopher, you just come to like a sliding halt in the mud. You get covered in this black muck. It's just stuck to your, essentially, because you're not wearing armor, are you? You're wearing.
I got chain.
You don't have chainmail on.
Or studded.
Studded leather. Okay. I was gonna say you don't have chainmail.
Yeah, I was like, no.
You don't have heavy armor on.
No.
Okay. Easily, you just come to this halt. Your studded leather is just doused in this disgusting muck. And it's super moist. But yeah, anything else you wanted to do, Zakaris? If anybody was going to try to initiate combat, we're essentially out of combat.
No,
Unless anybody else was trying to do something else.
Is there asparagus?
Considered it, but probably not a good idea.
He's also a bear, so you can't really talk to him.
I think we should just head back. I know I'm the only one who actually rested, but I used up almost all my resources.
Cool.
Alright.
You're not there.
Well, you can see it.
Cool.
Alright, we're done.
Yeah.
Travel, run, go for a run.
Yeah. After just a few moments, you guys kind of catch up, get back to your cart, and resituate yourselves. The 3 guards are essentially sitting with Mean Mead right now until they hear anything else. Jesse looks to Jacqueline and just speaks to you and says, "So we lost a ride. Where are we gonna go?"
There's It's an interesting. Guessing it's not comfortable riding in this cart, is it?
Looks over and you can see Derek is just like up against a barrel after the bear. He's essentially clutching it, still being exhausted. He's trying to sleep, just like you can see Yeen is
His name has changed.
is it
Bean.
Bean? Sorry, Bean is atop the other barrels, just kind of like shaking, kind of
He
confused.
has his back on top of the barrel.
Just shaking one of the barrels a little bit. But yeah.
I wish I could tell you. Right now, that cart. We have 2 horses, and I think both of them are being used. Oh.
Yeah, and looking back at the horses, you can see all the horses are at death's door, essentially. They have several, like, most of them have, except for Zacchaeus' horse, who avoided the whole thing.
You mean my horse?
Yes. The horses that are dragging the carts, and the horses that were being used by anybody else that was a part of this, have jagged spikes into their legs. They have massive just cuts across their feet that are essentially inhibiting their movement. They're moving much slower as well. And all in all, there's 5 horses that are on death's door.
Okay.
They don't have enough hit points to survive another one of those.
Am I in that cart then? Or
Yeah, you guys made it back to your normal cart. I just didn't move the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna cast 2 healing words level 1s on each horse.
Alright, 2 wild magics.
Yep. The first horse number 1.
Good.
And then horse number 2, why not?
That was close.
Yeah.
See, that was like 20, 18, 4.
Okay.
So what horses are?
The 2 dragging me needs, and the 2 dragging your cart and your horse.
Oh, there's 2 more.
Oh yeah, there's 5 horses.
Well, I'm gonna worry about.
Our horse.
You can at least worry about one of our horses and one of Neat's horses.
Okay, yeah, I would do that. I would do 1 of each.
Okay.
One of them can suffer. I'm sorry.
Well, if one is healthy, it will take some of the brunt from the other.
Just roll 1d. Okay.
5 for that one.
We'll just assume you healed them, because right now you're not in threat.
Okay.
But you give them some healing, and it cures most of the wounds that are across their feet and legs. Just say roll 44 for no reason. You start healing up some of their wounds, and they start to get back that pace, that trot behind their steps, and your carts catch up to the rest of the caravan. Because before, they're starting to slow down and get left behind, because your cart was essentially going quarter speed to their full speed. So,
Are we good now?
yep, you guys are essentially, even me Needs, who has 1 horse still kind of injured, the other one is keeping up with it, especially since this cart only has essentially a few barrels on it. It has, after giving away 2 barrels, has 8 barrels in total on it. And
What about my horse?
your horse was healed too, wasn't it?
No, it was this cards and this cards.
Did you have 4 heals, or did you only do 3?
I only need 2. 1 on each.
Oh, sorry, okay. Then yeah, your horse is still really injured and is pretty slow.
Alright, it's my last spell, well, sure, why not?
You just roll it to get it. Sure. Okay.
Boats.
Wild magic.
That's what I meant by explode.
I forgot
We're good.
about that. Okay.
Okay, good.
So you heal it up. You can see that it keeps up its splendor as well. And so Zacchaeus, are you back on the horse or?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I'm just gonna lay it back on the cart. And just...
The carts are still going full speed. Shayla turns back, looks at all of you. We're getting the hell out of here. Apparently they see the break in the forest.
Go! We can sleep! It
still takes the better part of an hour of just traveling forwards. The smell of this area begins to lessen and lessen and lessen. And there's that moment of nearly everyone feeling this reprieve,
to near unconscious from the smell, but then you kind of lull yourselves back awake until you're fully out of this area.
I was supposed to say a random one half that time, but because he usually before he said that. Never mind.
That was not a sentence.
That was
that
not,
you
that was
said.
like words that were thrown at me. After that hour, 30 minutes more pass. The sun starts to begin to set. It's not fully set. It's just starting to get kind of yellow out. You find yourselves out of the swampy atmosphere. The entire location of trees is almost like a border. And once you cross it, you can see that the trees stop.
Oh.
The ground becomes more solidified as time goes on. And it's starting to go back to that same complexion of the Field of the Dead before, but brighter almost, like a little bit more colorful,
And fresher.
vibrant, and living.
I never thought I'd feel so happy to see death.
It doesn't look very good still, but it's much better in comparison to the current swamp that you essentially were in and a part of. And the smell's gone.
Ooh, not even ink? Not even ink boy over here.
We're good. We're good. I'm still.
So other cars stopping or
Wall can't sleep.
They're continuing for a brief moment. You hear trotting coming back. You can see the brown-haired man once again with his hood back down, and he speaks. So we made it out. From this point on, it should be straight shot dragon spear. We won't have any more complications, as far as we can tell. We have a better part of maybe 3 days till we make it there. It's kind of a decision from the rest of us that we'll probably sleep here in the next hour. It won't be nighttime yet, but I think we could use the longer rest. Once we just get further and further away from the swamp, we'll feel a little bit more comfortable.
Understandable.
another hour.
I slept, but I'm.
I
had to
also
give
want to
him all my
say it
chest.
was. You did very well for us. Thank you for that bridge from before. We couldn't formally thank you before, as we nearly ran into those frog people. That was a bit surprising, and then the tree also was not. Was against our plans originally. We thought that this would be a much more easy venture, but the Fields of the Dead, what they say about it. Once we make it to Dragonspear and make our way to the actual tradeway, it should be much easier. That path is much more taken. It has guard posts as well from the National Guards and a few other essential city watch. So it's got border patrol, it has other caravans going to and from, it has a toll here and there, but it's a lot less dangerous apart from Thieves' Way. But once we get past that, the rest of the pass should be safe.
Okay.
It's funny because he's going off, and in my head I'm literally thinking like we're gonna get dragon spears to be like on fire or something. And then he's like, apart from Thieves' Way, I'm like,
Well, when you have
Cool.
something named Trade's Way,
Cool.
it makes sense that there's going to be people trying to steal what they can. But like I said, the entire road is very much more heavily watched. There's only a few points where there's less surveillance, and as a result, that
like
creates
a blind spot.
thieves. Yeah, essentially. But
Where you
once
get
you get
people
past
like
that, we'll speed by it, and hopefully nothing happens. But if it does, it's still nothing that can handle after being resupplied from Dragonspear. We're not going to be going into this completely exhausted like we just did, and it'll be a lot easier. But we're going to be getting rest better part of an hour from now, so enjoy your sleep, because I think everyone here can use it, except for that
don't ask.
dude over there.
Don't ask about him.
I had sleep, but
Only guy.
I am exhausted still.
Well, we are
Don't mind.
incredibly jealous of you. Speaking of which, Gopher, you have your third level of exhaustion now,
Yeah.
being your sleep schedule still off course from everyone else's. So all of your rolls now essentially are at disadvantage.
All.
your ability score, your ability checks, ability saving throws,
Here,
and
go
attack
for it.
rolls.
Why don't you just sleep right now? We'll watch over you while you travel. You should be able to sleep already. And now cast.
I need someone to cuddle.
No such thing.
I'm casting protection and good and evil for you.
Okay, so you from your dot sleep just and this like energy kind of forms over Gopher's body.
Try to sleep, Gopher. See what happens.
Alright, I'm going next.
Okay, so you just sleep on top of the cart basically.
Just drop. Like
After an hour passes, the carts all stop, and there's this moment of almost disbelief, like paranoia, like something's gonna happen. We are not gonna be able to get our sleep. This is terrible. Something's gonna attack us. The tree's gonna come back. Frog people. The paranoia starts to set in, and then after like 5-10 minutes of this gentle breeze and
The
actual
exhaustion starts to set in again.
yes, you just pass out.
I stopped playing my lyre just so people could just.
People start to pass out. Is someone gonna try to be on watch?
You'll be on watch.
I'll be on watch for now.
Okay, you can make a perception check.
Who are you?
The rest of you guys are essentially getting sleep, unless you guys wanted to do something else in this time.
13.
13.
I knocked the fuck out.
Randall also knocks the fuck out. He passes out holding the reins to the cart.
Oh god.
I just pass her all my hearts.
Well, the cart stops, so
Yeah.
yeah, you got the dead rolls done.
She doesn't give a shit.
You just pass out on the dirt.
Yeah, she's just not even.
The horses also pass out.
I can just imagine like everyone just tipping over.
It acts like a blanket to Jacqueline. It's just
Yeah.
partially on her.
Basically.
Zacharias, did you just want to sleep then as well?
Can I check on the deer first?
Yeah, go ahead and make so you go up to the deer. The deer is also still like shaken up, but not panicked like it was before. You can see its like yellow eyes when you approach, just look at you as it kind of brings its head up. You can still see that it also has bags under its eyes, and he's extremely tired.
It's okay for a friend. You can sleep. Session of the day.
I pat it on the head, and then I go pass out.
Okay, so you pat him on the head, and then
Falls to the
after just patting on the head, you just fall backwards, passed out onto the dirt.
I woke up from that like
Everyone at the ground tremors as the 400-pound team like.
I was literally going to say that like he passes out and when he wakes up he's like halfway into the ground. Like,
Everyone just wakes up. Oh, we're under attack! No! The tree's back. No, you pass the fuck out, and everyone else doesn't even hear it. You so with your 13, you can see Shayla's cart passed out. People of that cart passed out. There was someone that was on watch. He falls asleep. The Lord's cart, everyone's unconscious.
and you just see the warlord rolling away.
Blowing air just rolls over the carts. Your 3 guards completely unconscious. Mead completely unconscious. One of the guards just passed out over the barrel.
One hugging. Just,
Essentially, everyone has fallen asleep.
everyone.
It's like the middle of the day too, right?
It's not the middle. It's starting to get into sunset. After like another few hours, it'll probably come to dusk and just get dark. You quickly realize, since everyone's been awake for 2.5 days,
Definitely.
except for you, they tried to have people on watch who failed and just fell asleep.
So I'll get up and start walking around the camp. The carts then.
All of them?
Yep.
Alright. Are you checking anything, or what are you doing?
I'm gonna go by.
You're not there just.
No, he's like, you're gonna fuck shit up.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say don't fuck shit up.
I'm gonna go to
I'm surprised you heard that.
Alright, don't worry. Oh, I know what you're saying, but Alan's carts.
Okay. Everyone's asleep.
Everyone's
You see Karn. He's essentially on the back of the cart, just kind of sleeping. Like he's got his back to it. The halfling is on his shoulder, also in the same position with his arms crossed, asleep, just in the same way. You can see Alan is kind of under the cart with like a bedroll flapped out.
I'm gonna go close to the cart, but not like too close, and try to hear anything in the inside.
Okay, make a perception check.
They're 18.
18. So you kind of peer in, kind of listening. Just roll a stealth check. No, they're gonna hear
Should it be at advantage, just in case? Okay.
They're not
Tell
gonna
me
hear
girl.
So they didn't see you at all. They have disadvantage because
Okay.
they're exhausted and they're asleep. So yeah, no, none of them, nothing, not even a try.
So, they listen in.
You hear snoring on the inside.
Just snoring.
Just snoring. It
Can
sounds
I-
feminine.
Okay, there you go. That's what I wanted. Okay.
Just sounds like the biggest, burliest dude.
I try touching the door.
Okay, touch the door.
I
Locked.
shit. Oh, man, it's here.
What was your perception score again?
Huh?
What was your perception score again?
18.
18?
Yeah.
The snoring inside, though sounds feminine, is kind of raspy.
What do you mean? What is that?
It's like
Smoker.
yeah, kind of like it's got like some phlegm or something in their throat that comes with like age or
Oh.
like troubled breathing, basically.
Okay.
Someone is
So someone's either someone either old or just probably both. Alright.
Oh, we're so bad.
I can't try anything since it's lost. I'm just gonna go and walk forward to the other carts then.
Okay. I mean, you pass by Shayla's car, everything's just already out in the open. You
Yeah.
see the Horde of Thunderous Force. She's kind of cradling it like a ball, like a child. That was before this cart.
Next is the landlord.
So next is the Lords. Yep. So when you approach, everyone's asleep as well. None of them were able to stay awake, and the Lord especially. He's got several bedrolls kind of laid out to like accommodate for his mass. So there's like 3 bedrolls that are flapped out.
I know what I'm gonna do.
And
I'm gonna go up to his.
What?
I was like, and as you look, you can see his mustache is slowly going.
Okay. So here's the important thing.
Yes.
I'm gonna release his horse.
Oh, okay. So his horse is off to the side. It's not like
Yeah, it's not like
It's-
tied or anything.
well, it's tethered to the cart,
Oh.
but make a stealth check and then make a sleight of hand check.
A blood. Stuff.
Stealth is based off dex. So.
So maybe like plus 2 then, so 13. And then a what? Sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand.
And what sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand is also
Dex.
dex.
Cool.
Okay. So you're trying to get in there. You're trying to untether. It takes you. This is only to determine how long it took. It takes you the better part of like nearly 10 minutes to unwrap the horse.
Oh god.
You're trying to fiddle with it, and it's tied. Initially, you started to untie it, and then you realized you were untying a different horse because they're tethered to the same post. So you have to quickly tie that back before that horse just takes off, even though it's asleep and unconscious. But then you untether the right one.
Alright.
Horse is asleep.
I'm gonna pet it.
Okay. You kind of pet it, wake it up, essentially. Or you're trying to
Yeah, trying to wake it up.
Okay. You wake it up.
I'm gonna use animal friendship on it quick.
Okay.
And
Friendly towards you.
I'm
Then.
gonna give it some food.
Okay. Give it some dry rations.
Yeah, and then once.
It looks back at you. Throws its head back down and tries to sleep again.
Okay, I tried. And then I go tie it up again.
Okay.
I thought you.
Oh no, I was leaving untied.
Okay.
Actually. And then I'll just go up and walk forward again to the other cards.
Okay, so after the Lords is
The carts
the
in one
tarp
cart.
carts?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get up there. Everyone's asleep.
Okay. I check the cart with the top on top. And
Well, there's 2 carts. There's 2 carts with both
Yeah.
tarps.
Oh.
So
I'm going up to one of them. Is anyone like nearby-ish? Kind of?
they're all nearby.
But they're like sleeping.
They're asleep on bedrolls on the ground. Since it's tarp, there's no like place for them to sit other than on the front with the
Okay.
reins. You can see one person laying down on that.
Oh. No, so not on top of it by chance.
Not on top of like the tarp.
I'm gonna try and go to the top.
Okay, just make a stealth check, quick. Arbitrary, just in case you roll a natural 1. That was close.
Oh, it's very close.
But you're good still. Yeah, through the exhaustion and everything, they're not
Being
gonna...
stabbed. Oh, I was on the top.
They're being stabbed. They just wake up. No. So, you pull it up. You can see there's several bags just like large leather sacks, essentially just like placed in there. There's like a chest in the corner, and it has like a small like padlock to it.
Okay, can I reach one of the bags like?
Yeah, you can easily just like
So I'm
reach out
gonna-
the other bag.
I'm gonna like take out my dagger and cut a little.
Okay, you cut a little bit of hole. When you glance inside, you see there's like potatoes and like produce in it.
But I'm gonna go to the next cut then.
The other one, okay.
Yeah, and do the same
Lift that
thing.
up.
Yep.
Okay. You just make another stealth check just in case.
Okay,
Because if
cool.
you do roll an natural one, you probably will trip on one of them, wake them up,
Yeah.
freak out. But you're good. Especially with your dark vision, you're able to kind of see, so that way you're not bumping into people because it's now dark. So
Oh, yeah.
so people are even gonna have less of a time seeing. They basically have quadruple disadvantage. I'm just like they're not gonna fucking see. The only way that they're gonna fuck up is if you fuck up. So you get the other one, lift it up, cut another hole in the other one.
Yep.
You essentially see the exact same thing. There's not a chest in this one. There's more bags. They're a little bit smaller, and there's a lot more number of them. They have like these like twine that's covering the top. That's essentially made for a loop to keep it closed.
Mm-hmm.
So when you kind of poke a little bit in, peer inside. This one has like a bag of coin, essentially. The closest one to it. You cut open another one a little bit, and you can see this one has what looks to be like these like carved statuettes. They don't look necessarily valuable, but they look to be like kind of like trinkets and just
No more cutting bags.
okay.
Just those you I wanted.
Yeah, no. By cutting, I imagine you're just poking a hole
Yeah.
and kind of peering into it. Like
Yeah.
not big enough to where something's just gonna like get yanked
Yeah.
out unless added force. But yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, that's what you see.
Okay. I see, and I look around. Is there any more around the area?
No, there's no other cars. You're at the head of the pack.
Alright.
Or are they out?
I'm just gonna start walking back.
Okay. You can walk all the way back.
Again, I'm gonna try to go to Alan's cart.
Okay.
You in there.
Wake up, boom!
Where the fuck is he? Oh,
Where is Alma?
I think that you would still sleep through a thunderous boom.
Everyone wakes up like, oh.
Anyways.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to listen again.
Yeah, you can
Okay. Is it okay? I'm gonna look around the car. Is there any kind of like vulnerable spot around the car?
make an investigation.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
That's 60.
Okay. So, a while back, during your very first beginning of this venture, there was those
Beginning.
The very beginning. There was those Paratons
Okay.
that was attacking your cart, was ripping out portions of it, and that was attacking Alan's cart and the Larlord's cart. You see a very small, like, scrape, essentially, that's in the wood. It's not a hole, but you can see that's it's still damaged. When you kind of like look up to it, it looks pretty like fragile of sorts. You'd have to apply some kind of force to essentially open that or break it or do something. But
What do you mean? Like what kind of damage is it?
it's wounded. It's not. It's like the wood is essentially because this is a pretty like luxurious looking card. It's got like the lavender and beige design to it, like the fucking like a chariot almost
okay.
or a carriage rather. So it's got like you can see there's the massive like claw mark to it, and it's got like it's indented, doesn't have the same paint coat to it, and it's not broken. Like there's no gap that's a hole or anything.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
it's weakened.
it's weakened.
Okay.
You're not necessarily sure how much force you would need, but
I'm gonna try to push on it a little bit.
okay, make a strength check.
16. No, it's 6.
15. So you kind of push on it. It starts to creak ever so slightly, and you're just gonna keep pushing even with the creaking, or
Yeah, a little bit.
so you just keep pushing. You kind of like create like a little, basically like a window that kind of like flaps open.
Okay.
You push it over, and inside you can see is what was her name?
The
You see May sitting inside of it.
Who?
the female mage person that was
Oh,
trying
okay,
to
okay.
Cure Gopher that one
Oh,
time.
yeah.
You see her inside of it.
That's just her?
Just her.
Just her.
Just her.
No one else.
No one else.
Your time.
Pipe down.
Okay, wait.
That was
are
me
you-
face palming as hard as possible.
I'm sure no one else is in there.
No one else is in it.
Okay.
You look inside and it's pretty luxurious. There's like a pretty large, like, double-seated arrangement, potentially. Around her is like a few bags and stuff, but apart from that, there's nothing else.
No other person.
No other person.
Alright, I'm gonna close it and. What? Oh. Yes, menu quick.
Okay. Just for the sake of it, because this is a minute long to cast, roll stealth check. Oh, easy. Quickly, just mend. Entire piece of the wood begins to like form back in the hole that you made. It fixes the wood, doesn't repaint it or anything, but it fixes the claw mark and everything.
Okay. And then I get up and I walk back to our car.
Okay. Maybe after everyone's still asleep.
Yep. Okay. Oh, well. Still not. Good thing. Alright. And then, how many hours has it been? Since
Maybe
Gold was
an
asleep.
hour. Oh, since Gover's asleep, probably like 3 or 4.
Okay. I'll wait until like 6 hours. And then I'm gonna. And when he's slept for 6 hours, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Okay. Make a perception check then.
8.
Okay. Looking around, keeping a close eye out just in case for anything. Nothing happens in those hours. 6 hours rolls by.
Alright, okay. I think it's time for me to.
So you wake up Gover?
Well, no. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Okay. So you just pass out.
Yeah, and then he's gonna wake up maybe. We'll see.
Okay, so you fall asleep. Time passes peacefully, as far as you can tell. Eventually, the sun begins to rise, and that's what essentially lulls you awake. Maybe not you. You would just wake up normally after so much
8
time.
hours, yeah.
But everyone's exhaustion has them essentially just conked out for far longer than need be, just by like a few hours or so. So everyone gets their long rest in. You recover 1 of your levels of exhaustion. So the Gopher, you have 2.
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
You unfortunately cannot try to sleep again until for another good like half a day at the least to try to sleep.
Sleep spell on?
The sleep spell lasts a minute.
Oh.
Because you would try to sleep, because this is different than just being exhausted. Your body is physically ill. That's the difference between like being tired and being physically exhausted. So just getting more and more sleep isn't going to fix that. You just need time to long, nice sleeping to fix that. Randall also has 1 level of exhaustion.
Alright.
And essentially everyone wakes up at the same time. So the sun is just barely cresting over, and that's when you guys all wake up.
Asparagus,
Why, hello.
I need to talk to you.
Okay.
Alright, and then I just go off with all horses and like somewhere in the back until everyone moves.
I just softly walk behind.
So what I'm sorry, what did you do?
I'm with Asparagus. We're going off like away from the cart a bit until we start moving. Just to talk.
Yeah, essentially you have extra time to get everything situated for what had occurred before.
Okay.
So.
Alright, so I make sure I look around.
Okay. You don't see anyone nearby.
Okay, so Asparagus.
What'd you say, by the way, Rex?
I was joking.
Oh, okay.
So Asparagus, while everyone was sleeping, I thought it was a good chance for me to sneak around the camp a bit. Their cuts for a bit. I found out a lot of stuff. A few things, not a lot. I'll do with the least important one. The cart in the front.
Alright.
The one that is covered in the tart.
Yeah, those ones.
Well, I found out it's one of the carts is filled with food, just regular old food, probably vegetables and such, and the other one is pretty much treasure and money, and some old artifacts from what I saw. I couldn't tell what they were. There was like statues, talismans, and such. I didn't open too many bags. I didn't want to be too obvious, but that's what I found.
To specify which card was which, by the way,
The one that had the money in it was the second cart, not the one in the front.
The one in the front's the food.
The one in the front's the food.
Okay. And that's what I found about that. I couldn't do anything else. And the cart with the food on it, though, had a chest in it. Had a chest with a lock on it.
Did you open it up?
It had a lock on it. I can open it.
Oh, I mean, fine. Fair.
And then, okay. Next thing. You might like this one. I'm not sure if it happened up there. I don't hear screaming, so it probably didn't happen. I cut loose the horse, but it was still asleep. And I decided to leave it loose. And I don't know. I'm not sure if it left in the morning or not. But
I guess we'll know in a little bit when the Lord wakes up.
Yep. Yeah, sounds of it. He's probably still asleep.
Nice.
Right.
Resonating.
So, here's the big one now. Like, very, very big. I make sure I look around again.
Make a perception check.
Alright, Calvin has
Not
actually fallen.
You don't see anyone nearby. I'm sorry.
Are you sure?
Nobody's nearby.
I have a nat 20.
Nobody's nearby.
Wait, let me do
Nobody's
this.
nearby.
I'm some next to you.
Yeah, go ahead and roll. Nothing.
Okay, so I went up to Alan's card, the one they have with the name of the person they were holding.
The Grand Maven?
Yeah, the card with the Grand Maven in it. I tried opening the door, it was locked, obviously. I heard inside it was a woman, so yeah, Grand Maven, blah blah blah. And then I found an old damage part somewhere on the card. I pushed it open, and I saw that mage chick. You know who I'm talking about? The one over there with Alan's group?
The one who tried to help Gopher, right?
Yeah, that one. It was just her in there. No one else. Yeah. So I quickly mended the thing together and I left before anyone noticed, but that's what I found in there. So, honestly, I think we should be cautious of Alan's group.
Yeah, they're obviously hiding something rather important.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure you have noticed, but at a lot of times when we're with Alan's group, she's not with them. So they're hiding something. We don't know what. I'll tell the rest of the group too, but I thought I should at least tell you first.
Thank you. I have some things to tell you later.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'll go tell Rex. You go tell your sister.
Alright.
Alright. And alright, good talk, and good thing you're looking a bit better.
Make a deception check.
Okay, why not? 9. 11.
It's pretty obvious that's not what you guys are talking about, but sure.
Okay, anyway.
Nobody's caring.
What?
Nobody's caring that's watching, at least.
Okay. So, I come back to the car. I'm like, alright. Anyone sleep?
Playing with the deer.
You're playing with
What?
the
I'm
deer.
feeding the deer.
I thought you said you were banging the deer.
No, that wasn't even close to the word. Okay, so you kind of like pull out some dry food rations. You can mark those down if you have them. You just kind of feed it some essential cubed meat that you had gotten from before inside of the cart. While you're doing that as well, you can also hear some like eating on the inside of the cart as well. Some loud just crunching.
Crunching? How does he have crunching? Oh, he has rations in there. He's been hiding.
The rations can also refer to,
Yeah.
nuts and stuff. Like
These-
trail mix.
These nuts.
Got Chex Mix chilling out there. Just got a bag.
So, yeah, what's his name? Harvey, right?
Already dead.
Okay.
Days.
I knocked at the thing. Harvey, I'm not sure if you know this, but we made it out of the yucky swamp.
You can see the little slab. You see his eyes a little bit better than what they were before. He looks at you. Well, that's good. We still have a few days before we get to Dragon Spear, and I have to apologize. I was not right in my mind, and I do still require your assistance, I think. And it would be greatly appreciated if you all stayed by my side for this time. I don't know what was happening yesterday, but I'm
still alive, and I
Don't
can only
worry
assume.
about it.
Yeah,
Do I hear that?
It's better if you don't worry about it.
Well, I can only assume that it was because of you guys that I'm still alive. So thank you for that, and I think that I was in the wrong with what I did. So
We're cool again.
We appreciate you apologizing, but also, I need to talk to you about something important quick. Do you remember that talk we had about you meeting the Grand Maven?
yeah, it's to essentially form like a better bond with each other, right?
I think we should cancel that meeting. Just saying. I don't think it's a good idea. For your safety's sake, I believe it will be,
Why, are you gonna trust them with anything? 'Cause, I mean, the Grand Maven's a very, very powerful figure. If I make an ally with the Grand Maven, that would bolster my career by quite a bit.
Yes, but then again, we don't know who the Grand Maven is, and if that's actually Grand Maven in there. We can't be certain.
Well, if she's got her crest, then that's enough to kind of signify it.
I look over at the cart. Is there actually a crest on the cart?
Not on the card, no.
I mean, until they show us the crest, then I don't think we should have this meeting then.
Do I hear that?
Everyone can hear this. Like, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not like hidden. You're not,
I
like,
walk
hush,
up
hush.
to Ryder and I lean over like, what did you find? You were the only one awake last night. I know that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was keeping peaceful eye watch on everyone, making sure they were sleeping like babes.
You don't believe him?
I don't believe a word that you said.
Roll insight. Roll deception.
You dare challenge me!
I get an
Matter
roll.
what's inside?
Oh, okay. What was yours?
26.
Damn it! I actually rolled good. I rolled a dirty 20.
That's pretty good.
I got a 16, but plus 10.
I also got a 16.
You're also on.
plus 4.
Unfortunately, you're also
Oh,
still on
yeah.
disadvantage, anyways. Harvey also doesn't catch on.
Yeah.
So, well,
And I would just say, and that's it. Until we get proof that it's actually Grand Maven, I think we shouldn't hold this meeting yet.
you wanted me to roll for him? He doesn't know.
Also, another off-topic question. While being in the tiefling lad over there,
I can see where this is going, and he kind of like leans a little bit to try to see Zacchaeus, not seeing him where he's at. You've stayed with me this long. I could hire you on for this time at least.
yes. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
They'll still be the rate of the guard, but
At least I have a job now.
it's very true.
Under me.
That's true. Oh, I'm not sure if you knew, but we also lost your little cart back there.
What happened to the cart?
Tree.
It's
yeah.
better if you don't. Same thing of the thumpies that you were hearing. Yeah.
The problems, the issues we had yesterday.
You kind of see his eyes kind of like shake a little bit, and he shoots himself back into consciousness because he's still on exhaustion level 3. But he turns and kind of just turns away, grabs a bunch of food. Like essentially, he's sorted what he had and kind of like puts them away. When he kind of moves, you kind of catch the whiff of something, some kind of bodily odor from inside. You can
Do I recognize it?
It's probably urine.
Okay, I was just saying he pissed himself. Okay.
I mean, he never left the cart.
It's also very like pungent. Probably not recent. It's probably just been sitting in something for a few days. Yeah. Probably not doing the best cleanliness wise.
Guys, I think we should just live off the rations I have for now until we make it there. Honestly, I have.
This is hard.
Probably
I
a good
gave. I gave 2
Doing
away.
better, but may have expelled
I have.
after a week's time of sitting inside the car with no exit.
I have 6 rations left.
Yeah, I have.
Not to be rude, we're not going to get anything in there anymore.
Oh well, I mean, I don't save any money, but that's what you decided to do.
I mean, that's what I'm deciding. You guys can decide that you want. I'm not getting anything in there.
Honestly, as far as I was concerned, I wasn't. She was just eating from.
I'd rather live off of asparagus as good berries.
Looking over at
Yeah, it's good berries.
Zacchaeus, and he's just kind of Still,
They are very
still
good
way too
berries.
They
Keep
are.
your food to yourself, and make sure you wash your hands before you give us our payment, please. Thank you.
I mean, we'll make it to Dragon's Sphere. I'm still not going to leave this place except for potentially cleaning. But you know.
We'll escort you to a nice inn, and you could do what you want there.
That might be a good change of pace. Dragonsphere is a very respectable city. If you don't know much about it, it's very rural at that.
Does anyone else?
Do you know what's it famous for?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Does anyone here know about Dragon's Keep besides you?
Dragonsphere.
It is known for its dragon spear.
You can make Zakaris, Randall could go for. You can also make a history check. So the rest of you have not been from, so you would not.
That's
Did
what
you
I'm
make one
asking.
Randall?
I'm asking Carter though.
With disadvantage for you three as well.
Oh man. Did you actually get something super good for both?
Dude, my first one was a 19 and then I got an 8.
Oh.
And history check.
So that's only a 9.
Okay, Zakaris?
15.
Okay. I was going to say because Randall rolled an 18 and 17, but I'll just say it because it's Zakaris instead. So, Zakaris, you recall that Dragonspear, for one, was a head figure in a recent civil war several decades ago, or at least history foretold it. It was recently after the Great Gods War, the Primer, and go in the bathroom. Okay. They were a very large central location for a lot of battles. They came with Dragonspear because a lot of the military force that stayed and presides in Dragonspear are draconic individuals. They also are called the Drac Knights, where they wear solidified black metal armor, obsidian, essentially, textured. And they have a same textured shield with the same kind of textured spear. So they walk with essentially pitch black armor on and weaponry that was very powerful against the Civil War and their defensive force rather than their offensive. That's why Dragonspear essentially was named that, was because the head, the governor of that city at the time, was part of this covenant with oh god, what is it called again? I'd have to look at my mini book because this is going back into a different thing that I actually was writing a long time ago.
20 years ago.
I need to go to my that's not it. Where's my puzzles that I wrote up? Okay. Nope. Okay. So it was the Civil War was between 4 different cities, and the cities themselves were more like regions. They were let me find it. They essentially set up fortresses of castles, and there was the castle of Struben, which was to the north of Faerun, Castle Fastguard, which was to the south, Castle Distrube, which was to the east, which is the furthest from you, and Castle Farbar, which was to the west.
I'll just tell you that now.
That's fine. This is for Zakaris. And this was, Dragonspear was the main city figure for Castle Farbar many decades ago.
So it was one of the cities for the Civil War.
And the Castle of Farbar was the victorious of the 4
And that's
Civil
what
War.
Dragonspear is.
Essentially, Dragonspear was a head figure of their defensive force.
Alright.
So why is it
I
called
told everybody
Dragonspear?
that.
It's called Dragonspear because of the Drac Knights.
Okay. And then tell us what else.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that true, Harvey? What he said?
Yeah, it's actually surprising. He has it nailed to a T. The entire city is fortified with these solidified obsidian walls that coast upwards to almost 15, 20 feet tall.
That'll take 3 minutes to mine it down.
It would take years to mine that much with diamond because it's a fairly larger city.
So would it be like a thing Playing steel. Where does that go?
Get out of here. You missed some history lessons.
Slash Minecraft.
Obsidian is the main topic of that. So yeah, essentially you relay that to, and it's confirmed with Harvey to be true.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Well,
Sorry, how did we get on this conversation again?
I asked.
Oh, we'll take you to an. We'll say we'll take you to a nice land.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, please. It would be greatly appreciated if I found a better living abode for a maid to potentially clean out what is happening over this trip. So
And maybe clean out your cart too.
The last word is most.
Alright, well, looks like we're about to move soon, so get ready. Make yourself comfy. Can't smell as bad as in there how it was out here before, but whatever.
I mean, it is an enclosed, concentrated space.
Yes. I'm gonna
with cloth.
I'm gonna go check my horse.
Okay, so you go check your horse. Horse is totally fine.
Good boy.
Good boy.
No, check
It's a one.
Is it? Oh, that's sad.
Check the log over.
I'm gonna get on and be like, alright.
Anybody doing anything in this time? The 3 guards are still sitting on with me, so.
That's not what we can do about that.
Yeah, there's nothing really you can do
So,
about it.
Zacharis, so how
Go
far are we
get
going
the
to take
pieces
this
of the cart, man.
deer with us?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
So how far are we going to take this deer with us?
That's a good question. I walk up to the deer and I cast Speak with Animals.
Okay, so after an hour, you cast Speak with
I
Animals.
guess we start traveling within that.
Yeah, within that hour, you guys essentially start to travel.
Do we know anything about the landlord, though?
The Lord? As far as you can tell, nothing's changed. You can't tell from this distance because
Oh, yeah.
the formation has now changed back to its normal self of 200 feet distance between each cart.
Okay.
So from this distance, you're essentially,
Oh, I guess, hang on,
from
before
the-
we start moving, actually, I'm gonna go talk to Alan.
Okay. So what are you gonna do? So you go up to Alan. You
Hey,
kind of
Alan.
pass by. Yeah.
Oh, and you guys get a good night rest?
Much better than we did before.
Well, it was about that meeting you wanted to have with your
Between the
grandmaiden
grandmaiden and
yes.
Harvey, the
Yes.
supposed figure. Sure.
Mhm. We wanted to know actually though. He wants proof of identification first to make sure it is the grandmaiden. So like maybe a crest or something.
Okay. I was trying to decide if that needed a deception check or not.
I mean,
Not
it's
necessarily. It's the truth, but you misconstrued it of a sort because it wasn't him saying he needed it.
Oh.
But regardless, you can just say it without needing a deception check. Well, we don't necessarily. I mean, I can ask the grandmaiden. Maybe she has a crest with her. We kind of wanted to keep it secret, so that way,
Oh, well, if you want, you could take it, bring it up to him in secret, and just put it up to his door without any of us looking at it.
we could try that, sure.
Alright. Also, I was wondering, where is that one mage woman you had with you?
Oh, May, she's up ahead with the head cart.
Okay, because, well, she said she didn't know any spells to help cure that curse.
Yeah, she came back and was talking about it, and it was, seems like it's less of like a curse and some kind of magical effect or something.
So nothing that magic can cure? Nothing that
At least not her
magic
magic.
Okay.
There's, you're probably looking more for like a cleric of sorts to maybe look into it, find out what it is.
Okay.
Because from what she said and from what you guys told her, it was like hag magic or
Something
something.
like that, yeah.
It's probably not good. Whatever it is, I would definitely seek help from like a cleric of sorts.
Yeah, that's all
Maybe
fine.
someone from Aurora or the Platinum Dragon.
Okay. Well, do you want I can wait here for you to get the quest, or you want to do it later?
She's inside the cart and the cart's currently locked, so
Oh, okay.
you have to ask her, and I can go ahead and ask.
Right. I mean, that's fine. I'll wait then, I guess.
Sure. So he goes up to the cart, kind of knocks on it. You hear a female's voice on the inside. It's not trying to be stealthy about it. Yeah, you can go ahead and roll. This would be probably perception to try to pick out specific details.
Silvertongue, let's see. Not Silvertongue.
It's not whispering.
Oh, yeah, perception. Oh.
Yeah, it's just perception. It's not gathering whispers.
20.
Okay.
20.
So you can hear very easily Alan, and he's just. So it looks like Harvey's looking for some kind of form of identification. You hear from the inside some shaking, some rustling and movement, and then a few bags opening up, a few things being thrown out, some coin probably, it's just metal kind of just tings on the ground. And you can hear, well, I've got my family's crest. That might do it.
Did I hear that?
Yeah, you hear all of it.
That worked perfectly fine.
Oh, is that someone from the cart? Excuse me.
Yes, it's I'm Ryder Hopkins. I'm the one transporting Harvey, the one just behind you, the cart.
Well, 2 carts back.
2 carts back.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah, because you switch places.
Yeah.
Shake up. But
Can I do perception on that voice?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wait,
you already just did. It was a 20.
I know, kind of like the voice, like the sound of a voice. Like, do I recognize it or kind of like pick it up?
Okay. Yeah. Try to make a.
That'd be an intelligence check.
I'm double checking, but the marks you. It's okay.
Take that.
Page was on it. Insight check.
Oh well.
It's going so well until now.
Yep, everything was going just fine. I just saw an 8.
8? No, you don't necessarily recognize the voice.
Okay. Yes, I am 2 cards back.
Well, I hope that everything is going all right, and hope we can have this arrangement soon.
Of course.
Essentially, when we sleep next, it would be the best time to try to do that in the morning, and from that point, hopefully we can form an alliance before making it to Dragon Sphere.
Of course. Anything that would help. So,
the speak with animals is now triggered.
oh no, I'm talking about the crest thing. You got the crest and go into the card.
Oh, she has it still. She hasn't brought it out.
Oh. So if Harvey would like to look at the crest for identification to make for sure that you're the Grand Maven. He's a little cautious over there.
I can show it to him once we have the arrangement, because if it's so visible, then the issue becomes that then everyone knows who I potentially am. And
Is
that
there
puts
a way-
a damper at
He doesn't want to meet until he knows for sure. Is there a way maybe you could put it in a bag, give it to Alan, and he could just show it to him through a little sliding hole?
I mean, I do, but the bag that it's for is very ceremonial. It's meant to hold on to a form of agreement, essentially, that when it's being shown, there's an assumption of what's inside of it.
I'm sorry, but we're going to need to show proof for him for sure. He's not going to want to meet you without the 100% sure he knows that you're a Grand Maven, which I believe, but this is my boss's decision.
That one I'm going to say make a deception check with, because he was actually talking about wanting to see her because of it would further his career.
26.
27, not 27, but close. Not enough though. Okay. I will talk to my escorts and see what I can do.
Alright. Alan, you know where to find me if you have it or have something to tell me. You know where to find me. Thank you for your time. And I play a quick note and walk away.
Just a flourish from your DOS loot.
The lyre. Just the lyre.
Oh, just the lyre. Okay. It's a little bit higher pitched than the DOS loot. But regardless, with a flourish, you walk away. Now the cart's starting to move. The speak with animals is essentially triggered, so Zacharias.
Hey, again, it's me.
Your boy.
asked.
It was back there with the tree.
And it was that big tree, the big one that like beat your ass.
I had to fly into it. No.
Oh, asparagus. I gotta tell you, actually.
Oh God.
When I'm not sure if you knew, but I almost died up there. And when the person told us to leave, I tried to ask them questions about the deer. They told me the deer belongs to their land. But I asked why did you want him for? They gave me an answer. So that's all I really got to tell you about that. Go on.
Now I'm very curious about where we need to take this.
Yeah, everyone out in the car heard that. So the deer just turns to you, kind of like looking with its yellow golden eyes at you. Being away from the swamp, the sun's able to hit this area a lot easier, and the sun that's bouncing off of his coat is actually very bright in retrospect. But you just kind of bear through it. It's not unbearable by any means, but it's still pretty powerful light.
I think it's telling you to turn into a bear.
Unbearable, some say.
Three trees just start to emerge outwards and conform onto your party.
Yes, a tree showing up in a bear in Wasteland.
No.
Superiors, please talk
Anyways.
to
You can hardly believe.
Nobody can see, but everyone is just cringing. Anyways, so the deer, he responds to you. I forgot what your goddamn question was now. It was, how are you doing, right?
No, it was...
How far?
Oh, how far? I'm unsure. It's a ways.
Oh. I honestly thought it was in Troll's spot.
Ask him if he knows what Dragon's Spear is.
I don't think he does.
He might, or...
I'll ask him anyway.
Ask him about the old...
Do you know the town of Dragonspear?
The deer kind of tilts its head. Dragon spear? One's a weapon and the other's a creature.
I was going to ask you to tell him to say the old name of it when it was back at the Civil War and you told us about.
And two.
Intelligence.
What was that?
I asked him anyway because Zacharias knows.
Zacharias would know because it's only been like 10 minutes. The castle of Farbar.
Yes. Do you know of the castle of Farbar?
The deer nods.
Okay.
Did he say he knows?
Yes.
You saw him nod.
That's
true. So our destination to take him is.
Well, we don't know.
Oh yeah.
And no one besides Zacharias who is speaking to him knows what that nod meant. He could have just been like, "I'm hungry, yes."
This is telepathic. So.
Okay, so I'm assuming that was a yes from the question you asked. So ask him if he has to go is maybe there.
Is Farbar Castle important to you? Is that where you have to go?
I don't believe so.
Oh shit.
Alright then.
I have to find a lake.
A lake?
We can
That's
make one
about.
There's one in the car here.
That's all I know.
What's the name of the lake?
Do any of you know of a lake around here?
I've never been here before. Don't ask me.
Who are you talking to?
Actually, what's the name of that lake then? Maybe that will help us.
We don't know about the lake.
He asked the deer.
Hey dear, what's the name of this lake?
Lake Farquhar.
Lake Asparagus.
I'm trying to remember if I wrote
The
down
yellow lake of Harvey.
a very important detail. Let me grab one of my notes because I don't remember if I marked it down or not.
Oh yeah, go for your sober as fuck right now.
Oh yeah, you're still out of alcohol.
And he's miserable.
Wait, no, it's the lake.
Oh,
Go for
fuck.
it. There's spirit right there on the other card.
That's over in real life too.
It's in Langdon Rosa's backyard.
So guys, I just
I
realized
need to draw stuff, huh?
how we woke up and give. And that should get. And we get everyone knows we got our jobs back, right?
All we do? Yay.
And
I hope he
the
apologizes.
asparagus, me and you also getting paid now.
Finally.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
Oh shit.
Hey, I mean, we're just like those three old back there, honestly. Now. That's what
Yes,
that's-
I can tell you what to do.
I still can boss you around.
Well, it's not like I'm gonna listen to you.
You can
anyways.
also tell them what to do.
Oh, that's right.
You guys think
Alright, come here.
Back slap.
you kill me, you ain't getting back up. I am your white mage.
Say 3 of you are the white
Yeah,
mage.
I'm the better one.
Well, you're more the black mages, but
Shit, it's been a day.
the battle mage.
yeah.
I am the battle mage.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay.
Lynn is only my white mage.
So the deer
In Final Fantasy.
contemplates for a while, like a good long few moments, and it just kind of stretches out, and you're almost like, maybe I have to ask the question again, maybe there was a break in the telepathic. And then it speaks out. There's no name, but what's that? It's I'm trying to think of how a deer would respond.
It's colorful. It rises on the sun. Who rises?
So it's basically like a single word.
How I do
Well, the
work.
thing is that deer's mentality has specific language that they would understand and like how they would depict certain creatures.
Just
But it's by the home of a large rock.
so maybe like a mountain.
A rock creature. A rock creature's home.
Oh, nice.
That's actually useful.
My character doesn't understand this.
You don't hear it. It's
Yeah.
only telepathic.
That's true.
None of you hear this, other than Sakaris. Not even him. It's just speaking telepathic to itself.
He's just thinking. in
Yeah.
his head.
Yeah, it's just a spirit talking to
An
himself.
outer monologue. Testing your
Sakaris,
metagame.
you got the name?
No, but apparently the lake we're looking for is the home of a large rock creature.
So we just ask the Lord where his home is, and we're good, right?
Oh yeah, go ask him.
Hey, that's actually a compliment in some way, because hey, guess what? He's chiseled.
Oh yeah,
Really?
that's right. Never mind.
Oh yeah, hang on.
His home was back with that yellow blob.
Oh my god.
Can you get any other information that might help us do?
Speaking of the large
Wait.
What spell are you trying?
I'm gonna figure it out. Give me a second. Just keep talking. I'll tell you.
Okay. We'll figure it out later.
Sakaris, can you figure out any more information that might help us? Besides a lake and a rock, or a home for a rock monster?
Then all you hear
Is
is.
that wrong?
I turn to the deer and I ask, "Is it this way?" And I point down the road.
I'm trying to think, because doesn't know where it's at. He just responds, "I don't know."
Alright, thank you. He has no idea.
Oh shit.
We've gotten closer. It'll say that.
Oh,
Alright then.
then let's continue our journey on and just continue moving forward from there. All of that.
Tyler, I could learn Thunderwave, right?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, you
Thunderwave easily.
I just couldn't find it.
What spell are you changing for it?
I can only change a level 1 with level 1, right?
Yeah.
That's what I gotta figure out.
Well, no, you can change any spell into another spell. It's just that if you change something into a first level, like say you took away,
A
you
cantrip?
can't take 2 spells and turn them into 2 first level spells.
Oh, okay.
You can know whatever spells as spells. You just can't change. Because that was the homebrew ruling that I had, is you can change only
Mhm.
one of each different spell level. So essentially, since you're a level, you don't know third level spells, but if you did, you could change at max a cantrip, a first level, or a second level right now. If you were a third, you have the option of a third level spell
So
slot.
can I change a cantrip into a first level right now or no?
No, because cantrips you know a specific amount of. This is different. This is
Is Charm Person level 1?
Charm Person's level 1.
Okay, I'll change that.
Since he has been using Thunderclap much more, Thunderwave is just a better version.
Yeah, it's a 15-foot cube in front of him.
Okay, yeah, I do Thunder Wave now.
Whereas he has
Replacing it with Charm Person.
Okay.
Did you shuffle that, Calvin?
Right.
I think I was gonna say, that's all I ordered.
I'm doing this.
Looking at him. Anyways, anything else that you wanted to ask, Zakaris?
Do you need food?
Yes.
I just fed you.
He's hungry still. He's
Okay.
he's a very greedy person. Preferably a berry.
I'll conjure up some good berries and give one to him.
Can I have some?
I was scared. I went to get. I said, I fed him.
This is like a pack of gum at school. Someone opens up a pack of gum. Can I have a piece?
Right.
Can I have a piece? So you hand the berry to the deer. The deer's eyes kind of like glisten. Just like puts it into its mouth. You can see it like puff out its cheek.
And you got sunny fall, sense of being.
Well, but yeah. So now you just have 9 berries. Just chilling.
I'll give one to 8 other people and keep one for him.
So basically, your party gets one. Probably like a horse somewhere.
All right. So that's the end of these choppy ending videos. We're going to have to add these extra lines in the back to explain what the whole situation is. But thank you again. Sorry that this happened. We're going to try our best not to have this occur, but at the time of, it was just too drastic to stop where we were. So we just had to keep going and going, but that obviously created issues. Thank you again for sticking through it, and know that I am deeply sorry that it happened. We will, like I said, try our best not to have this happen once again. Thank you.